Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. The English-speaking Caribbean secured 13 medals at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Jamaica, Bahamas and Bermuda won gold medals, while Grenada secured a bronze. This is how the Caribbean teams compared on the overall medal table. The United States topped the table with 113 medals, including 39 gold. China ended second with 38 gold medals, while host Japan garnered 27. Jamaica with 4 gold medals finished 21st overall, with Bahamas at 42nd, Bermuda at joint 63rd and Grenada finishing joint 86th. In track and field, only the United States and Kenya had more medals than Jamaica. The USA ended top of the table with 26 medals, including 7 gold. Kenya finished second with 10 medals, 4 gold, 4 silver and 2 bronze. Jamaica ended in 5th with 4 gold, 1 silver and 4 bronze. 4th place, Poland, also had 9 medals. The Bahamas, with their 2 400-meter gold medals, placed 12th, with Grenada in 36 thanks to a bronze medal from Kirani James. As the athletes continue to bask in the glory of their amazing performances in Tokyo, sprint legend Usain Bolt is warning them against possible exploitation from corporate entities. In a tweet on Monday morning, Bolt said, "A lot of athletes sought support from corporate Jamaica in their preparation leading up and heading to the Olympic Games and got no help. Athletes know your worth or power now that they will want to jump onto your brand or image for free." Well, we are joined by SportsMax analyst Leighton Levy as we take up this discussion and recap some of the Caribbean performances in Tokyo. Leighton, happy to have you on the SportsMax Zone.
Good to be awake.
All right.
What are you all doing?
We're fine. George is struggling to stay awake. Lance seems as if he's doing a pretty good job. So we're starting with Usain Bolt and, of course, that comment he made about athletes. What say you?
I agree with him entirely, but there are sides to that conversation that are a little more complex than the basic not support or support. I've always been advocating that a number of Jamaican companies could actually end up supporting athletes, but they prefer when the athletes are already accomplished to then get onto that bandwagon. So in regards to what Bolt said, he does have a point, but there are varying degrees to it. Because one of the things that I've always found interesting is that I know, for example, how difficult it is for athletes to train, to get the proper nutrition, to get proper coaching, to get the physiotherapy going. And it extends to the clubs as well. And I've known many instances, when athletes have reached out to some corporate entities only to be rebuffed, and then continues to struggle. But then if the athlete finds somewhere to find success, then, corporate is all over them. I think it's, in many instances, it's unfair and it just doesn't feel right, because a lot of these kids can't make it without the support. And unfortunately, a lot of corporate Jamaica doesn't see it that way. I mean, there are companies out there, I have to give credit to those companies out there who actually support their athletes on their way to success and while they're successful. So it's not not everybody. There are just some who believe. I don't think they believe in the sport. The bottom line is that I think a lot of people who are in charge of marketing and such in some corporate companies know nothing about sport. The only time they're interested in sport is when the Olympics roll around, or the World Championships, or champs, or some major sporting competition that they can piggyback on for their brands. But so when an athlete reaches out they have no idea of what they're trying to help to create. There are instances where, like, for example, in other countries where, in specifically like boxing, for example, there are companies that will sponsor young boxers to the Olympic Games, and if they're successful, then they give them an endorsement contract afterwards. I mean, if you're ever not successful, then you have to probably find another way through it. But at least they support the athlete on the way to that success. We are not willing to do that so much here in Jamaica. There are only a few companies who are willing to put that money where their mouth is.
But you see, the problem I'm seeing with the position that Bolt is taking, well, not the problem with Bolt's position. The reason I'm supporting him 100%, Leighton, without splitting the atom as you've sought to do, is this. My information is that there are some athletes who've achieved success at the recent games who sent proposals to certain companies who didn't take up those proposals and who are now falling over themselves to dole out benefits to these same athletes who they didn't see it fit to support in the first instance. And from Bolt's comments, I interpret that he is onto the same information that I'm on, and which is why he's using his privileged platform to warn them. I also know, and I'm sure you would as well, given your connection in these things, that there have been, that in the past, Jamaican athletes who have again sought a sponsorship from certain corporate entities and who have not gotten any response out of their marketing agents, when they've achieved success, they've been offered things and they've been told, those athletes, by their handlers not to accept those gifts post their success. So Bolt knows this very well, and he correctly, I am saying, has warned athletes to be careful of being used. And he's also making those comments in the context of athletes who, like you've said, have been enabled and facilitated by some corporate entities who don't have the muscle of some who will come post your success to want to carry you here and give you this and give you that and take pictures here and take pictures that. So they put in the shade those who really help the athletes to achieve success. And the smaller entity does not have the muscle to stand on their own. And that's what I interpret you saying to be hitting out against. And from that perspective, and what I know behind the scenes, Leighton, I have to support him. I didn't expect him to say anything, but I'm very happy someone in his position has said something.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's the point I was trying to make. I mean, there are two sides to that coin, where what Bolt said was absolutely 100% correct. But on the other hand, I think there are sometimes, let me put it this way. I believe that a lot of corporate Jamaica have no interest in sport whatsoever, okay? This is from personal experience as well. I can tell you stories about when I just came back to Jamaica and tried to push a show that was about highlighting Jamaica's track and field athletes before the Beijing Olympics in 2008. And I can't tell you how many companies I went to, and everybody told me, oh, they didn't have the money. Right? But then once the athletes achieved the success that I actually told them was going to happen, then they were willing to come on board with the athlete after the fact. So I get all of that. What I'm saying is that, you know, the idea for their marketing is not, it's more in the traditional mold where they don't see track and field athletes or athletes in general as being a tool, a vehicle on which you can build your product. And it's unfortunate because there are so many instances where we've seen across the board, from across the sport, so many athletes who, in performing internationally, bring Jamaica, raise Jamaica's profile internationally as well. You know, the thing is that a lot of them will argue that they don't market overseas or they don't market in certain areas, and the athletes, where the athletes aren't well known, they're not seeing them. They're not seeing them as a marketable, a force there in those particular areas of the market, which I think is myopic, and it's actually short-sighted in many instances.
But Leighton, if I may, what is, you know, since we're agreeing on the principles of what Bolt is saying, let me go further to say, what I interpret Bolt to be saying is being decent in telling these athletes to shun some of the gifts being offered by some of these companies who weren't there on the road to success and who now want to carpet bomb the moment and the situation and exploit the situation for their own benefit. That's what I read him to be saying, you know, when he says be careful, he's saying when they come, thank you but no thanks. That's all right.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, absolutely, and I agree with that. Because look, you know, you can support somebody and have them achieve success and then try to ride the bandwagon afterwards, right? It's easier to ride the bandwagon afterwards, which is what we're getting to, is that the fact is that more needs to be done to help a lot of these athletes who, on their way to success, will then benefit the company as well. But they only want to come on board after their success is achieved, which is wrong in many instances because a lot of these athletes desperately need the help, you know?
And my last point to you, Leighton, my last point is this, you know, I can't for the life of me see how any corporate entity with a marketing company worth its salt would not want to invest in track and field in Jamaica, even if you're only sponsoring female athletes, because female athletes for Jamaica are sure, you can take it to the bank. It's a certain that you're going to get your return in some way, shape, or form. Why would you? So now is the chance, given that you've seen more evidence of what the females can do for Jamaican track and field, and I'm saying female, even if you're narrowing it down, I'm saying, all right, narrow it down if you want. You've seen again what can come. I would charge my marketing department, go and find me the next 17 or 16-year-old or 19-year-old who is on track, sponsor that girl or that young woman, and let us take and enjoy the ride.
Exactly, which is what it's a simple thing. And this is what it's something that I've been saying for years. Bring the athlete along, and then when the athlete achieves the success, your success comes along with that athlete as well. You know, it's something that I've always been amazed that sometimes you don't know these athletes have one meal per day. And to sponsor the athlete, but I don't think they're asking for millions of dollars. They're asking for a few $1,000s to buy some food, to get some equipment, to be able to see a physiotherapist, you know, when you have you have an injury. That's all they're asking for. They're not asking for an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But there is so much unwillingness to help these athletes because they just don't see the value of doing that, and which is unfortunate.
Well, Leighton, thank you so much for giving us your analysis on, of course, the entire Olympics, and we're looking forward to talk to you again soon. You can get some rest now.
All right, bye-bye, guys.
All right, Leighton Levy there, our SportsMax analyst. We go to break, but what's coming up next? We have to talk about Lionel Messi and, of course, that departure, the way in which he was pushed out of Barcelona.